Uh-oh. I think we did it again.
Oh my gosh, we're live. It's red in the corner.
It's red in the corner. We're live. We're live.
You guys see me?
We're live.
See me?
Mm-hmm.
I see. Hey, Brian, I see you.
Oh, okay.
We're missing somebody though.
Yes, we are.
Oh.
We're missing. Oh, wait. Here we go. Hey, it's your turn.
What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. Oh yeah. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Prime Time. That was a new fancy intro. How much did that cost, Jay?
A lot of money.
Tonight we're very honored to have with us singer-songwriter Mr. Brian Collins. Hey Brian, welcome to Prime Time. Nice hat, buddy. And as always, say hello to Lindsay Love. We learned all about her last week. Now you know all you need to know about Lindsay Love.
Everything. Everything.
Corner, say hi to Mr. J. on Prime Time.
We did it. We did it. The technology is working thus far. We never know what could happen. I mean, we're here. Hey, yep. Brian Collins, welcome to Taylor Primetime, the Guitar Nerd Talk Show.
Thank you for fitting me into this small box.
I feel it. You're here with us in spirit and on video. We love it. Welcome. Welcome.
Good to see you guys, if not in person, at least from afar.
Good. Hey, you guys have no clue what you're in for tonight. This is Brian Collins. Brian Collins.
Hey.
We are big fans of Brian Collins here at Taylor Guitars, but we'll get into that in a minute. Tonight's episode, how to make it as an indie or independent musician. Brian knows everything about that, and I'm pretty excited to have him here. So excited that I think we need to kick it off with a little bit of Brian Collins playing guitar. How's that?
Some baby stumble on a I'm still young, but I don't want to be by myself. No. And I bet when you have nothing on, you wear that whiskey. I bet you wear that whiskey well.
Nice.
Brian, do you wear that whiskey well?
Well, I don't know. That Dutch mullet looked pretty good though in the video. So
that was in 2018. I believe we did that in 2018.
Yeah, that was a blast. Yeah, I didn't even know what I was walking into. You're like, Brian, we need you up here, and just dress what you normally dress in. I didn't even know if it was going to be a video shooter. So I was glad at least I didn't wear the leotards that day. So.
Well, you usually wear a leotard.
We'll get into that. I skipped it. It was a little brisk that day. So
we'll get in California, in Anaheim, in the winter.
It's not like I wouldn't fit in at NAMM in leotards. Okay,
that's true. That's true. That's 100% true. Hey, Lindsay Love.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Now you're a co-host again. Last week you were our guest. Yeah. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. No complaints.
No complaints. Andy, you're coming in really strong right now. So what is going on in the North Woods? Like, did it warm up enough to send your internet connection faster? What's the deal?
Jay, I've just been saving all the energy I have for you tonight. I've been trying to keep it mellow all day long. You're gonna ramp it up, just like hopefully it won't burst into fire here. That's my
All right, cool. We got it. We're going to make it through this. I know we're going to make it through this. This is fantastic. We are so excited to have you here, Brian. How this show works, this is the Guitar Nerd Talk Show. If you guys are new to Taylor Primetime, we talk a lot about guitars and stuff. Taylor Guitars, that's why we're here. We're really excited to have you. I see a lot of repeat offenders, so they say. There are a lot of hey, we got a lot of regulars here. Jay's got a Gibson. I don't have a Gibson. No, that's a D'Angelico. That's not a Gibson. Yes, Lindsay has other guitars. You have Andy has other guitars.
Mhm.
I'm sure you got a Gibson, don't you? You have a J45, don't you, Brian?
I do. It's rather in the back. Yeah.
Nice. See, look, it's way in the back.
I never use it.
I never use it. I mean, good guitars are good guitars. It's just how it is, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, we passed that one. Anyway, so we don't have a Hug Your Haters this week. No one gave us any hate or threw shade, as they say, at us this week. I was upset about it, but I'm not really upset about it. We are showing the love here on Taylor Primetime. That's about it. How do you feel about that, Andy, when we don't have segments?
Like, I kind of makes me wonder if we're doing something wrong. Like if we're not getting any shade, maybe we're not taking enough of a stance on something, especially these days, right? So
maybe
it's okay to have a little break, I think, but I kind of miss it.
Well, let's figure out how to make someone upset so that Brian, you got to understand that I often am on the chopping block, right? They want to fire me all the time. And
Right.
every time Bob Taylor's on the show,
maybe we can make Brian upset, and then he could just write in an email for next week.
Yeah.
See, I'm never coming back on that show.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do something. Yeah, we can do something.
Well, it's an easy target.
All right, crazy talk. All right, crazy. Let's not make anybody mad. We appreciate you guys for watching the show. We truly do. We appreciate it when we don't get any hate, but we do like to show the love. So we're going to jump right into the next segment, which is, what are you listening to? Andy, do you have a little number for us?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to do it as a waltz tonight, I think, Jay.
Okay, I would love that.
What's new? What is new? What are you listening to? What are you listening to?
I loved that.
That was beautiful.
Very nice.
I'm listening to that every week. Yeah. Brian Collins. This is a segment of the show where we talk about what we're listening to. What tunes are we listening to right now? What do you have in rotation?
I've been getting up early in the morning. I've been doing this whole like lemon water treatment. I guess it's supposed to be a cleanse or something. But I start my cleanse off with a little Townes Van Zandt, and then kind of roll into some John Prine and Tom Petty, and I'm just trying to get into this Americana thing this vibe, because I'm kind of feeling that for my next album after this one. So, but the sneaky one is the Power Station. So that one gets kind of sneaky in there a little bit. I'm a Robert Palmer fan. So.
Oh man, Lindsay, what are you listening to?
Yeah. Well, last week we lost Chick Corea, right? He's a jazz pianist, one of the pioneers after John Coltrane era. And so I've been listening to a lot of his stuff. Huge fan of the Electric Band. And then just a lot of his solo stuff. Like the album Light as a Feather, obviously, that has Spain on it. And then he has like another album called Early Days, going back in his catalog, but just kind of appreciating him all over again.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one. We had a couple of losses this week. It's pretty intense.
Right.
We lost Rupert Neve, and if you're not familiar with Rupert Neve, do a little bit of research. Not only did Rupert Neve help us develop, and David Hostler developed the ES1, if I'm correct, but Rupert Neve is all over about every single record you can ever imagine because of his preamps and consoles. And recording will miss the recording industry. I bet you Gabe has a few things to say about Rupert Neve. That's for certain. And Chick Corea, that was a big loss. Andy, what are you listening to?
Lindsay, I like what you said about Chick, because that's a good thing for me to dig up maybe next week. I did see the Electric Band play at NAMM right when Frank Cavalli just joined the band. It was fantastic. It was kind of early days of MIDI, and I remember that Chick had a guy in an orange jumpsuit, like loading all his samplers and stuff. Like he was just running around like loading programs, so that when he went to call up a certain sound, it would be there, which I thought was pretty cool that you had somebody who actually was loading discs for you. I listened to recently a Peter Gabriel record called I.O. from I.O.'s Secret World, and then they're different mixes of a lot of songs he's released on earlier records, and so it's really I always love hearing the song that you've grown accustomed to remixed or done in a different way. But so that's a really fun one for me to listen to. And I told you last week that I was gonna spend some time digging into the Flaming Lips again. I haven't listened to this for like 20 years, and reminded me how good the song Waiting for Superman is. So it made me want to add that to my covers list.
Wow. Yeah. I too dug into a little Chick Corea this week. I had an opportunity to record once or be a part of a album being made in Chick Corea's studio in Silver Lake, California. And it was one of the most phenomenal places I've ever been in my life. So when we lost Chick this week, it was you know what, I'm going to go back and dig and find some stuff I never really listened to before. And come on, Meghan Trainor has a new record. What? You can get mad at me. It's fine. I have daughters and they like pop music, so I got to dive into that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's that. I got a message I see in the feed over here. Hunter, it said you might have a little slightly fuzzy video. I think you can correct that in the settings by setting to HD. Maybe not. Hopefully it gets better for you. So today's episode, let's dive in. Brian Collins.
It's me.
Brian Collins. We are so stoked to have you here. We have worked with you. I was introduced to you by next week's guest, Tim Godwin, who is our director of artist relations. We're going to do another get to know session.
Who doesn't love Tim?
Tim. We got to have Tim. Everybody needs to know Tim. He was an Air Supply.
Right.
That's the reason why I like it.
We really need to remind people that he was an Air Supply. So that's amazing.
You should say Bread though, just to like mess with him. Like he's from Bread, and then it was like, oh, one of those other soft rock guys.
That would be incredible. Brian Collins.
Yeah.
What in the heck do you do, Brian? Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and where you come from.
And I show up randomly on video chats. No, it's you guys brought me on the show, and I was really happy to be here and explain a little bit about what I do. I'm a singer-songwriter. I play a few instruments. I like to take long walks on the beach and drink whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just an independent artist trying to find his way in the world. And
how did we get introduced to you?
I was doing a show. Daniel De Los Reyes of Zach Brown Band had a Gone Bops show that he was doing. He wanted to show how he could incorporate country and Americana with traditional Cuban instruments, and so he pretty much drew me into this showcase. Little did I know we were opening up for for Chad of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and so we were playing acoustic and softly, and then Chad just blew us off the stage with his rock.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
and so we ended up just kind of floating over, and he introduced me to Tim, and I ended up meeting you right after that. So
that is true. So you're talking, we're friends of, we were introduced to you by Zach Brown Band Camp.
pretty much, yeah.
So does that mean you're from Atlanta?
Atlanta, Georgia. That's it.
Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing an Atlanta Braves hat just for my man right here. So maybe the sports talk later on in the episode will go a little deep on Atlanta sports. That's pretty great. So, Brian, I know, we did some pre-production with this, and I know Lindsay and Andy are going to have some questions as well. But I'd love to just dive in. Like, you are the epitome of independent artists. You hustle harder than many people I know. I know that there are a lot of people in music that hustle. It's a hustle.
It is.
Everybody has to work extremely hard to make music happen. I mean, you get to play songs and write songs and play them for people and record them. That it's a lot of work, and be it probably the funnest job in the world, right? But
it has the moments that are incredible moments. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and I see you working hard. I've seen you pounding the pavement, driving all over the United States, creating festivals on cruise ships, right? You've done this. We'll talk about that in a minute. But where did it start? When did you get your start playing music? When did you, and then, songwriting? When did you start writing songs?
Sure. I think I kind of had a knack for it. I've always been a fan of music when I was a kid, and my sister passed away at an early age. She had leukemia, and so a lot of times when she also has special needs, so my parents would have to take care of her. So I would listen to the radio when they weren't around so much, and that was kind of my escape. And so that music kind of grew and took hold, and kind of guided me through some really rough times. And I guess, through high school and things, you start doing literary rights and things like that. So I kind of had a knack for poetry, and then and also my parents were also gracious enough to put me in to the Atlanta Boy Choir for a few years. So I did some touring and singing cathedrals, and so that kind of like laid down the foundation for getting the band in high school, trying to get the chicks, and then and then it turns into something a little bit more serious when you realize, like, wow, okay, this thing is working out for me pretty well. People are liking what I'm putting out, and it kind of grew from there. And then you blink your eyes, and now you're here on the Taylor Primetime show.
You've made it finally. See, I told you, one of these days everybody is going to know that this is going to break artists.
I love this. That's great. Yeah.
Oh well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. So songwriting, it was a thing for you. You had a knack for it. You love playing. Do you remember your first song you wrote?
Yeah, I think it was called like "Hey Mister" or something. It was about the inner person inside, and it was very, very deep at the time.
Whoa.
That's wow. A lot of layers. That's super deep.
Yeah, I believe that's the name of the song. Or if I could reach back, but I couldn't tell you. I could probably dig it up somewhere, but I probably wouldn't want to hear it. The embarrassment reel.
That's incredible. So
what you ended up playing it for the talent show at high school? Lost, by the way. Yeah.
Hey, Lindsay, did you ever play in a talent show?
I did. Yeah.
Andy, did you play in a talent show?
Definitely. And like fifth grade, I think, was the first time. It was more of a lip sync thing. Yeah. But yeah, I was in the talent show.
That's
kind of like a Napoleon Dynamite routine with your background.
Lindsay, do you remember your talent show?
Yeah, I did one in middle school, and we ended up playing. I actually played guitar. I played guitar, but I for the talent show I played piano, and the other guitar player, and we did Chronic, Dr. Dre's Chronic, and the whole like school went. I mean, it's
You
hilarious.
have video of this?
I don't, but I swear I ran into him like on social media one day, the guitar player, and he randomly was like, "Do you remember when we played Chronic for the school talent show?" And I'm like, "I totally do."
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was not in the talent show, but my mom, she's watching. I know she's watching. She'll remember this. I got a phone call from the head of our theater department, or like the the teacher that taught theater, who was in charge of putting the talent show together. And apparently the guy who was going to MC the talent show had mono or something, right? The kissing disease. And so all of a sudden I get this phone call, and it was like, "Hey, will you MC the talent show?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. When is it?" And they said, "Tomorrow." So I had to make up bits, and I mean, it's nothing worse than primetime. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but it was so fun and hard to do. Anyway, Brian, did you win the talent show?
No, we lost very. I mean, we had some friends and fans, but we lost. I think I think it was an interpretive dancer of some sort. It's always the interpretive dancer.
They're gonna get you every time.
Every time.
Hey guys, in the feed, please.
Keep up with the interpretive dancer.
In the feed, please give us some stories about your talent shows. We know you are all in talent shows. Every single one of you is a talented person. So I would love to hear and maybe highlight a couple of stories about your talent show. Let's get back to the show though. Brian, what is your writing process? How does it work for you to write a song?
A lot of times it starts either with a phrase that I either hear or someone has said in a conversation that I might overhear, or a melody line that the shower is always a good place. The car is really where I kind of find my inspiration most of the time. And then I have the little recording device, so I'll hum a horrible sounding melody, and then I'll try to make sense of it, or I may have some kind of an incomplete thought and mumble some words that end up being a kind of a cool song later on. But rarely is it ever a guitar first and then melody. It's usually like the melody first, which I think is sort of my stronger points. So
the melody.
The melody first, and then the guitar building around it. But it's not like I have like great guitar skills anyway. So
you're saying you're not a great guitar player?
I'm not a great guitar. I wouldn't call myself a great guitar player, but I love playing guitar. I get by with it. I learned enough just to get by, and then I hire guys to fill in between, with the solos and whatnot.
I got you.
But like candy there,
You once told me that the guitar was your best friend.
It is. I often sleep with it. It's not supposed to be talked about on air, I thought. So.
That's incredible. Yeah. Guitar playing. So, if you're not a good guitar player, I think it would be a perfect time for you to maybe play a little song. Do you want to play it?
I just so happen to have one right here.
Do you want to play a song? That would be amazing.
Yes, I'd love to play a song. In fact, just listening to the song that you had played earlier, I'd love to play that one. Strap on the old harmonica here, why don't I? And,
go for it.
No, thank you. So this one's called "You Wear That Whiskey Well," and so part of the process of this, making the song, ended up being in Nashville a few years back, and I was out. I hadn't been back in town for a while, so I was out with some friends till about 4 a.m. I would gather, and I get this call from my manager at the time, and he's pretty much just saying, hey, Brian, we got this really crazy important meeting, and I'm expecting it's going to be in the afternoon, but he's like 8 a.m. And I'm like, I am screwed. You know, so I Uber back to my apartment or the hotel at the time, Uber to the meeting. I'm still buzzed, man. But we go to the meeting. Everyone's like, dude, he's hilarious. I was loose as a goose, man. And come out of there. He's like, man, you were great. You were great. Pats me on the back. He's like, you know, what the hell got into you? And I said, about a fifth of whiskey. And he said, well, you wear that whiskey well. And I said, okay, I want to take that one and put a song in it. But this is more of a love song. And let me get this straight. It's not about my manager. I just used the title.
Check this out. Check this out. You got a little comment from your buddy there, Rockwell Jacobs.
Oh, let's see.
He can pick. He can pick a tune.
Song say, well, you know, I try. You wear that whiskey well. We'll settle into that stool next to mine. You sure look like a really good time. As far as I can tell, yeah, you wear that whiskey well. So let's seal this deal with a kiss. The lights are low, but keeping it lit. Well, you're all dressed up and you wear that whiskey well. Here we go now. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give us just another pour of that good stuff. Well, I'm feeling hazy, but girl, don't hate me, 'cause I'm feeling thirsty again. Well, set them up, we'll knock them down, and you and me, we're gonna own this town. Yeah, you got me under your spell, 'cause you wear that whiskey well. I think it's time for a shot. Here we go. Well, 5, 6, 7, 8. Find it hard to walk straight, cross-eyed and tangled up. Yeah, we're swaying to the music, but nothing's playing. Girl, I think we've both had enough. We're buzzing like bumblebees. Some people stumble on home with me. And the night is still young, and I don't want to be by myself. But I bet when you have nothing on, you wear that whiskey. I bet you wear that whiskey well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey,
Man.
we have a new platform here, and it didn't zoom out.
No.
That sounded great,
Mm-hmm.
man. The music's on point tonight, Brian. That was fantastic, man. That's a good song. That's a good song. When I
It
heard
really
you,
is.
when I heard you perform that in the well, at NAMM, what we do, and we're not going to tell you what room number, but at NAMM, one of the things that we do is we convert a hotel suite into an area where we can film content. And we did, definitely. I definitely pulled you. It was a trick. I got you and Rockwell to come up there because I needed some really superb talent to get up there, get on camera. And it was when the Grand Pacifics were being released. So it was the Builder's Edition 517 and 717. And we did a little first impression session. Oh, that rhymed. That was fantastic. I could be a songwriter.
That's a new segment.
Yeah, it's a new segment. Anyway, but I had you guys up there, and then you rocked that song out, and it was amazing. I would like to, take my hat off to Rockwell. Rockwell is
Oh gosh, yeah,
he's
he
in
directed the video. Yeah, he saves it with the guitar playing, man.
He's in the feed. Rockwell Jacobs is one of the best guitar players I've ever seen. He's so phenomenal.
Out of all the guitar players I know, he's one of them.
Look at him. Look at him. We hadn't slept straight off the plane.
That really was.
You guys were tired as tired gets. That was incredible. And yes,
playing in Napa or something. I can't remember.
It was something
after that. Never mind.
We digress. We reminisce. Let's get back to the show. So, thank you for doing that.
Oh, man.
So, a lot of people don't understand that if you're a major label artist, you get investment from the label. A lot of times you get support from the label. You get what we call tour support. Being an independent artist, you got to find that tour support yourself. You got to be creative and do it. I truly have seen you with my own eyes driving around the entire country, around and around and around again to beat the pavement and play the shows. As we know, we're coming off a year where we don't have a lot of live shows, and it's sad. And we wish that we could all get back out there and breathe the same air with people and get out there and watch a show. Touring. How do you tour as an independent artist, Brian?
Well, first of all, if you've got a little bit of, I had some fortunate experience. I was doing years and years in a traveling cover bar situation. I used to call it beer leading, and so you would go from town to town, and they would fly you. It was a bar management group or something, and it was like 10 or 12 major cities, and so we would kind of do covers, and and when you're really a songwriter and you're using covers as your main bread and butter, it can kind of wear on your soul a bit. And but I was starting to hand out my own CDs at the shows, and we weren't supposed to be playing originals, but people were starting to dig the originals. So I'm like, man, I got to change my program here. And so I decided to kind of come full on as as an independent and singer-songwriter solely. But that really helped, just any of those little instances where you can kind of plant roots, plant seeds, and that kind of helped germinate these different cities. And so I kind of used social media over the years, and that's all ever changing. I mean, you got to study, you got to learn, you got to wear different hats, and you've got to learn how to do video work and some of your own graphic design. And it's like, you don't have to be the best, but just if you know a little about a lot, that's going to get you far with that kind of thing. Because when those people, you got to reach them now with social media, and beating the pavement is necessary. It's mandatory. Always, love your fans, respect your fans, stay in touch. They're not just fans. They are everything to your career, because without them, there's nothing. And big shout out to BC Brigade. But those people, are not just fans, they're family, and they see something that the music inspires them. They support it. I may be getting on a tangent here. I don't know. Am I coming down the right road here? Is there any more direct
thing? You're great. You're great. It's all good. Lindsay toured a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And Andy, have you toured a lot? I believe you've toured a lot. Even if you haven't toured a lot, you've been all over the world, time and time again. Actually, the first time I really spent time with you, Andy, believe it or not, was when it was your 10th anniversary at Taylor Guitars. And Bob Taylor told a really great story. So I believe it was Bob Taylor, it might have been Kurt, who said boy, I'll tell you one thing. Andy makes traveling the world easy because he knows how to do it and go everywhere. So if you ever need a traveling buddy, go with Andy Lund. But Lindsay, you toured a lot. I mean, can you attest to what Brian is talking about?
Totally, especially without like the backing of a major label. You know, you're just, you know, you have to become kind of the jack of all trades, like you said. Like you literally become, because you're trying to save money where you can, and you become your own graphic designer, your own.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have that marketing advance. I mean, you've got to do your own marketing.
You're your own web manager. You're your own, you know, booking agent. I think when we left our label, I created. Now I would say even on the label, the indie label, I had a separate fake account, like my manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I forgot her name. I think it was like my sister's name, like Stephanie at lindsaylovemusic.com or something like that. I don't know what it was, but something, you know, where you have your fake manager doing all the business emails to booking venues because you don't want
to have the different name because they never take you serious. Like, hi, I'm Brian Collins representing my artist Brian Collins today.
And it was all because I got rid of my manager at one point. I mean, I know so many indie artists that have done that, where they have no representation right now, but they're representing themselves as another person. Yeah.
And but she hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's like literally, it's almost a facade, and it really doesn't need to exist, but it has to exist because for people to take you seriously. I mean, I guess there's probably more people who are a little crazy out there, you know, and so that, you know, these are kind of safeguards if they know if you're taking your career serious or not. But it's a financial thing, you know, and that's why the fans are so important, because, you know, without them buying the merchandise and doing some of these bands do the GoFundMe. I did a Kickstarter for my Healing Highway album, you know, a while back. It was very successful, and it was a real big jump start to get me off the plateau that I had been on for a long time.
That's good. Bottom line, you got a tour.
Yeah,
I tour managed. I tour managed. I can't. And in a pandemic year, it's really difficult. So you've had to become more and more creative, putting out music, playing live streams, and doing Taylor Primetime, for example. I mean,
this is the dream.
This is the bottom of the barrel.
Living the dream. I tour managed a band out of New Jersey called Midtown, and their first record, I believe their first full-length record, just turned, I believe, 21 years old or something this last weekend, which was phenomenal. And I was talking to one of the guys in the band, and I said, do you remember the time the band was able to afford a cell phone? That was a big deal right back in the day. Now you have smartphones, we have social media, we can do that. Yeah. Explain, you know, booking a tour. I've seen you play at big venues. NAMM, right? That was paid big. You came and played at NAMM, did some performance there. I've seen you play on video. Obviously, we filmed that.
Sure.
And I've even seen you, which is so great. You're so gracious to your fans. I've seen you play at a house party, backyard party. Yeah. I mean, explain how touring or booking that works.
So, you know, I've been very blessed and fortunate that I've been able to play arenas and backyards. You know, for me, I treat the show the same. I still have to entertain the person in front of me because they're going to tell the next person about me. And I want that to be a positive review. And so, you know, I'm always getting lost in my own music. I just zone out anyway, and I'm into my thing. And that's kind of like how you have to be. And then I think the rest is going to take care of itself. You just, like I said, I go back and you respect your fans, and you always come with a really great show, good songs, and good, just good energy too. So the way that I end up booking these things is I just make the emails. I pretty much have to, you try to utilize some of these booking agents in a way that they'll book you. You can get in touch with them with your pseudonym, and and they'll find some slots for you. But you've got to be persistent, and your material has to be quality. The presentation, your material, the sound, how you carry yourself, all that has to, it's almost like fake it till you make it. Well, that's a true statement, but just don't fake your music. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
Well
that's
said.
fair.
That's really good.
But let's follow up with something real quick. You got some new music coming out, don't you? Or you actually just released something. What did you release?
Yeah, I got a new single. It's called "Keep Walking On," and I've kind of been trickling that out. I've got a whole new album that I'm getting ready to gear up, and we can talk about what I'm doing with that a little bit later. But just to focus on the single, this was a song that I've been carrying. I co-wrote this song with a guy named Mark Carson, and he and I do a lot of great material together, and just a great guy. And we just have fun making really good music together. And this song had been sitting around for quite some time. I wrote it in I lived in a fifth wheel behind the Grand Ole Opry at the KOA for about 3 or 4 years. And so this was one of the songs I had sitting in the kitty from a long time ago that didn't quite make the cut, but I'm like, man, this is a really great song. I need to get it out there. So finally, talk about the money situation. You're investing in the current album and the albums before. So finally ended up getting enough ducats together to finish up the job. And, I had some really great help with Mills Logan from Mix Mills Studios, helping me engineer, track it. And so I've been really excited to get it out there. It's very inspirational, and it's the song of my life. Keep walking on. I mean, that's what we have to do, not only as artists, but as people every day.
Should we give them a little bit of a taste of it?
Just a sample.
I think I got a sample.
Yeah.
I hope I know which one I'm going to play. We'll give them a sample. I like this one. This one's good. I like the way you're standing. So let's do this one.
Well,
like that one was so short.
Sliver says that. So.
It's like a real short, like, hey, I said a couple of O's. You maybe want to sell it. Here, how about we play this one? This one's really good too. Let's play this one.
And you might not get there first, and the road is long. Keep walking on.
There you go.
Yes. But I still like the other one because you slide in
kind
there.
of like floating away like Marvel comic guys,
Keep walking on.
Sounds so good.
Where is it? Where is it? What's that? What happened?
Oh,
Thanos.
Thanos invaded. Yeah, that's on
The snap. I know. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm a Marvel nerd, so I'm with you.
I thought we had a bunch of nerds.
I'm with you.
We're all nerds.
Explain myself.
Keep walking on. We'll show a promo later that tells you where you can get it, but it's available everywhere. Keep walking on, Brian Collins. It's
Sounds
a fantastic little ditty. But earlier we were talking about getting music out there, and I think we got a couple of more questions about releasing music as a solo or as an independent artist. I know Andy had a couple of questions about it. And from after that, we'll start taking some questions from the feed and wrap the show up. How's that? Andy, go for it.
Yeah. So, what kind of things are you thinking about right now when you say you've got a record that's finished, you want to release it, and the last one you just dropped recently? Are you still printing CDs?
Yeah, I still print CDs, just something tangible. The streaming is sort of to me like the business card for the touring. However, I am kind of in talks now with ZMI and Arcadia, which is American and UK based distribution for not only just we could do CDs, but I think we're even looking at the vinyl side of things and just a bigger, more, it's a tangible item and a really cool thing. It's the deep listening thing, and like we've noticed that the curve is going up on the sales for vinyl, and which is a great encouraging statistic, because I think the lack of something tangible in your hand has made music more of a disposable commodity and sort of a passing in the wind kind of thing, where there used to be songs that stuck around because you had enough time to sit there and listen and have them envelop you and be in the music. So, and be a part of you and your life.
Yeah. I was going to say the disposable came into my mind right before you said it too. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of folks who just click 5-second intro, click, that's such a thing that nobody could do that.
In the world of, algorithms, you can't replace heart and soul with algorithms, so it's just, a computer's not going to tell you, what this is going to tell you.
What are your thoughts about other platforms? Are you on streaming?
I think they're necessary only because of the masses. I think you do have to get it right. I play the game like everybody else. It's hard because as an independent, you don't really get the shelf space and the billboard space that everyone's getting. In fact, I was just trying to do my Keep Walking On the other day, and I just type in my name, and I'm like, it's hard to find. You have to get really specific. So the majors kind of have that cornered. But again, the best way to do it is just to keep pounding the pavement, ask your fans to keep sharing the music. I think as it climbs the ladder, there's enough pie for everyone out there. So
it's definitely true. As some of you know, some of you may not remember, but Mr. Brian Collins was also in I Know What Love Is. And as you can see down there, you can go and stream I Know What Love Is everywhere. This is my plug. I'm going to continue this for the rest of the season, as you know. But the algorithm game is really interesting. Yeah. If you share the music and if you save the music, that is the most important thing you can do for your favorite musicians, your favorite artists. Play it first. Listen to it. That's good. Add it to a playlist of your own. Yeah. Right? You make a playlist for your friends. Share that playlist with your friends. But when you share the music, then the algorithm starts to pick it up and go further. I love the idea of Brian Collins records. Yeah, I would buy them.
Well, yeah, and that's the great thing is it's just it's a new territory for me. I'm also, as an independent artist, I'm exploring other genres. I'm kind of branching out and trying to get into new territories, because I've just been a partner of Bluestone Entertainment, which is a film and TV production company with Richard Saperstein and Bo Turpin, and now I'm looking at music more as a kind of that background and that soundtrack to be placed in the right place, and trying to find new ways, not only tangible items, but new ways to find a home for it, where if it's not getting the publishing on the radio or on a video, you can try to find publishing, trying to place it in film and TV.
It's really interesting. It's a absolutely wonderful segue. That's great questions, Andy. I mean, I think it's really great for people to understand kind of the process behind it. But Brian, this is where we get into this segment or the part of the show where we take some questions from the feed.
Sure.
And Doc has a question right out of the gate. What tips do you have for getting into television and commercials? So I'm assuming he's talking about getting songs placed. Do you have any recommendations?
Sure. I mean, there are plugging companies that will pitch songs to particular agencies, I mean, there is a lot of red tape, and I think the best thing you can do is get out there and make relationships, because in a business of it's who you know, well, it's who you know, and a lot of times, that is a big thing. So I worked with a lot of people. I did a lot of sound engineering, and I did a lot of producing before I actually went on the road. We didn't get into all that story, but knowing that, I got in touch with an engineer who knew somebody who had and it's these little trails, you never know. So don't burn bridges, because they'll come back to you someday. So that's the thing. Just keep at it, keep plugging away, keep pitching, and pay attention. Look at your material and what you're pitching it towards as well. You want it to be cohesive.
What do you think about like platforms, or do you use platforms like MusicBed, like where you can, as an independent artist, you can put your music on there and have it licensed?
This is a particular path that I've never gone down. I mean, I went, and the reason how I got through this to this stage is that I had a great friend in Bo Turpin. He wanted to talk to me about some music placement, and I just kind of fell into it. So these other sites, I got to tell you that I've tried some of these. I'm trying to remember the name of the site. It used to be like Taxi or something that would plug this. Is it Taxi?
Yeah.
So they, that used to be. I had a couple of friends have some success from the Taxi site, but I wouldn't know on the other hand.
Okay. Doc has another really great question. I'm gonna load it up here.
Fire.
Doc is on fire. I'm gonna tell you, this is a really good question, because I mean, this is my world as well. So I love this. But do you make any money from streaming, or is it touring?
Yeah, there's rarely any money in streaming. Like I said, it's more of a business card to get on the road for your touring. I mean, I think it's typical. It's a 0.004 cents on the spin. I think it is on the dollar. So, I mean, you'd have to have millions and millions of spins to really rack in what you would make buying or selling albums. So, I guess, the touring is where you make most of it. The merchandise, if I had to say, try to find some kind of a brand that you can stick to, BC, these things that you can do to make more tangible objects and items and merchandise that people will buy to help support and keep you making music. And those are the most ways that I make money is touring, merchandise. And I still get some occasional CD sales. So,
Andy, you got a question, Andy. Is it this way in other countries? Maybe your market. Do you know about how streaming works in other countries?
Tower Records is still open in Japan. You go to Tower Records and it's full of people, and there's very few. There's not any free music there. It's one of the few last places I think where that it does exist, but people still buy CDs there. People spend a lot of money on nice, well-packaged CDs. When I see my friends there, they're always giving me these really nice gifts that are like, it's just artwork. It's the tangible thing that Brian mentioned that I still appreciate a lot. I remember when I first got into music, like looking at Roger Dean's artwork on the Yes albums, I was just like, I would just want to jump into that world, and that still stays with me. I think that's important. So no, it's different. It's different in other parts of the world. People still pay for music in some places.
The goods. I came from distribution. I have record label experience. We, as a family, early on with my now almost 13-year-old, we started introducing her to vinyl when she was just a wee little tot, remembering music for the first time. And I remember buying Katy Perry records, but again, that's what she wanted. So we would have to get these Katy Perry records that were, of course, dad who's a vinyl snob is going to go through like this 180 gram double gatefold, $100 piece of vinyl for my daughter. And then we have another daughter who wants the same record, and you can't let them share. Sharing doesn't work with kids. So then you're in like $200 on Katy Perry. But you know what? It's something that they remember and that they have. So as a family, we often go to the local record stores and we'll give them a few bucks to go through the dollar bins and find something.
Yeah.
And the funny thing that my daughters do now, which you'll all appreciate, is they look like they scour the place for the Queen, man. It's either, Aretha or the Queens, I should say. Dolly Parton, holy smokes. If they could find Aretha and Dolly Parton, they're just like even through, and they're like, I think, my youngest, when she was learning how to read, she'd be like, does this say Dolly? So, I appreciate the vinyl game, and and it's also a better experience. It's really fun. Yeah. So Brian, we got a couple of more questions, then we'll keep moving. Sure. We got one here. Ken wanted to ask Brian, when are you coming back up north? It's cold up here. We need some southern heat.
That's Ken Kearns from 118 North. They got an awesome venue up there, and it's Wayne, Pennsylvania. So he puts on a great little festival, but it's definitely gonna have to warm up. I think those guys were killing it in the pandemic. They were actually putting the tents outside and then piping the sound from the restaurant into the tents across the street, and then people could log in live and see it on they had their game together, man. Wow. Good on Ken.
Wow.
I'll take notes on him.
That's
I'm coming up there, buddy. You just hold on to your richest.
Brian Collins. All right. We got a couple of guitar nerd questions. This one's good. Raven's got a question for you. How often do you practice scales?
Well, remember the time when I said I wasn't really that good at guitar?
Which of the scales are your favorite?
I don't practice scales anymore. I think that's a Lindsay thing right there.
She's a ripper. Come on. Yeah. Here's a great question by Philip. I've only played locally. How do you find places to play in other cities? That's an awesome question, Philip.
Oh man, with social media now, it's so much easier. What I always do is when I started out, I used to tell who was out there touring that was kind of in my wheelhouse there, if they were kind of at my level, and I would look at their tours and see where they were going, and I would go, oh, okay, I can just follow that guy and just go in right behind him and do that same run, and then add in, find people in the area, and I would do some backyard shows and kind of mix it in and just keep it flowing, all across. So, just pay attention to your peers, where they're playing, share ideas, share contacts. It's not a competition. It's just music.
It's not who you know, it's how you know them.
And what they know about you.
Right. A music mentor once told me that. Gabriel, actually, producer Gabriel has a good question for you. Do you work with a merch company or pretty much design everything yourself?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, okay, so I do a lot of designing myself. I take on a lot of just the basic concepts, the designs, what I want to do, but then I end up to do all the bulk orders and getting it kind of placed and realized. I'll usually use an outside company to make that happen.
Somebody else had a really good question, a really good idea. Of course, Paul Tobias has an idea. Brian Collins whiskey flasks.
That's old.
Sell well.
That's old news. But I'm out of stock, but the pandemic came. I can't replenish. Just if you want to order the first 100, I'll be sure to get you.
There you
go. We got a couple of other questions here.
Sure.
There was a really good one I'm trying to scroll back. I mean, they're flying in here. Oh yeah, C.A. Harris has a question for you. Can you play some more?
I mean, I could.
Brian, would you give us another round of music? That would be fantastic.
Sure.
And then we will move on to Lindsay's question, 2 minutes of sports and trivia.
This is called When the Sun Gets in Your Eyes. Na 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 na. Blind. Yeah, I swear I was blind. Well, the light made me high. I can't find my way. Lost. Maybe I'm better off when the lines get crossed. There's nothing left to say. When a dream shines so bright and the wrongs just feel so right, but the truth is the surprise sneaking up on you. It's so hard to see when the sun gets in your eyes. Na 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 na. High, yeah, I climbed too high, but my head on the sky, and the fall felt like flying. Crash, yeah, burned and crashed till I heard God laugh. That's when I stopped crying. When a dream shines so bright and the wrongs just feel so right, but the truth is the surprise sneaking up on you. It's so hard to see when the sun gets in your eyes. I'm gonna open up the window and feel the morning on my face. And if the weight's on me, that's alright, 'cause I did it my way. Hey, when a dream shines so bright and the wrongs just feel so right, but the truth is the surprise sneaking up on you. It's so hard to see when the sun, hard to see when the sun, it's so hard to see when the sun gets in your eyes. Na 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 na. It's so hard on your eyes. Hey, oh.
Yeah.
Very
Bravo,
nice.
my friend.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Those are my scales for the night.
So good.
Way better than scales.
So good.
those are, at the end of the day, music, man, when you bring it together, my mom's a big fan of country music, and it's great because she says, you know why I like it? Because I can understand what they're saying. So, Mom, that was for you. We brought Brian on here so that you could become a new fan. That was fantastic, man.
So
you
good.
crush it every time. Your boy Rockwell there, he approves.
Yeah, so, man, it'd be great to have a little jam like those. He knows the scales.
He does know the scales. He does know the scales. Waiting patiently. Kay says, waiting patiently on some live music, man.
Show's coming up. That's true.
We need the live music. That is for sure.
Oh my gosh,
All right,
yes.
Brian. That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Do you have any new projects that are coming out before we go to Lindsay's question?
The project is keep walking on. It's my new album. We're hoping to, the single's out right now. You can get it on all major streaming platforms, and you can also order it. It says pre-order, but it's out now. But it won't be digitally, so you can get the CD right now. But look for it to possibly be out on ZMI Arcadia in vinyl in the coming months. So on the full album. So. Thank you guys for having me on.
It's awesome, man. You're great. All right.
So
we gotta move on. We got a couple of segments. We gotta wrap this thing up pretty quickly. All right. We got another question. We got
Thank you.
We got this thing caught. Okay, guys, in the feed, you know what's coming up. We got Lindsay's question, 2 minutes of sports, and 2 trivia questions. All right. Yep. We're bringing trivia back. The prizes have made it into the hands of people. I started getting emails and thumbs up, so I'm really excited to bring trivia back. All right, Brian. Lindsay?
Yep.
You got a cue, don't you?
I do.
You got it queued up? Hey,
I do.
Andy.
Yeah.
Do we have a song for this?
We do, but I have something I want to clear up with Lindsay first.
Okay.
Last week, you and I sort of got challenged to write a tune.
Okay.
Remember?
Yep.
So I had an idea after we hung up on the call, and we played your cool little demo that you said was nothing.
Oh my God!
Wait a second.
On your
wait, this?
So So my idea is that little 4-measure groove is something.
Okay.
And that's a spot to start. So
all right.
What is it?
It starts on B in B. So B minor, yeah.
G.
Yep.
Anyway, will you just show me what those chords are? I think that little thing is a good like intro and first verse.
All right, let's do it.
It's an A section.
Let's do it.
Wait, I think Brian Collins up there in the corner just volunteered his harp skills.
I don't know.
Mouth harp skills.
His harmonica. He said harp.
Mouth harp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. We're gonna do it.
All right, cool.
We're gonna do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it. They're gonna write a song together. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna produce this thing and we're gonna release a record.
She might stump you, you know, but it happened on the show. No one knows what's on her mind. But Lindsay's question is designed to get to know you. To get to know you.
That would be you, Mr. Collins.
Oh, that's so good. Lindsay.
That was so good.
Lindsay, it's your turn.
Okay, well, I need to first ask him, but I have 2 questions in mind. If the first one is wrong, if the first one he just doesn't know about, but you seem like you might be a Marvel fan. Are you a Marvel fan?
I like a little Marvel. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe you can do this. Maybe we can do this then. I'm just gonna ask you, who is not your favorite? Well, you can give us both. Who is the strongest Marvel superhero, and why are they the strongest?
Oh God. Well, the strongest. I mean, the one I think is the strongest is Thor. Maybe like he's up there. So
okay.
And he's
because he's a god,
because,
god or whatever.
He's a son of a god and a god of himself.
Stronger than Hulk.
And he has a big ass hammer.
Who's your
fighting like this? You got a hammer.
And who's your favorite?
My favorite, gosh, I love Iron Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
More because of Robert Downey Jr. But
okay.
Yeah.
Man, we got the comments are coming in. Hulk can take Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, where has this conversation gone?
Yeah.
It's gone so far. I think we need 2 minutes of sports. Go for it, Andy.
But 2 minutes of sports has nothing to do with guitars. Discussion of legacy, favorite memory, nothing about melody. Maybe GOAT, it's up to Jay. Let's see what he say on 2 minutes of sports.
It's so good. We see Brian. We do these segments just so that we can hear him. I mean, let's be real. We love Andy and his tunes. Atlanta sports. You had a really good story for us about the Braves. You remember this story that you told?
Yeah, man, this was crazy. It was really in fact, it doesn't have to exclude the guitar because it actually included this guitar here. I think this was a 99 614C. So you got that in there. But I was playing it that night. It was the Buckhead Triangle at this place called the Tin Roof. And it's probably the year 2000. And I'm playing a show. And Bobby Bonilla happens to be in the audience. And, you know, at first we hated him, and then we loved him when he joined the Braves because it was a Pirates-Mets thing, you know. And then he joined the Braves. And so he sat back, and after a few songs, he gets up. He's like, "Hey, man, do you know any Dave Matthews?" And I said, "Do I? I know a lot of Dave Matthews." He's like, "Great. Could you play like maybe 3 or 4 Dave songs?" I was like, "For you, man? Yeah, anytime." And he pulls out a fresh Cuban cigar, drops it in my tip jar, and a crispy $100 bill. He said, "Play all 4 of those songs." And he walks to go down to the bar. He doesn't even stick around. So I played the 4 Dave Matthews tunes that I knew. And I took a break, and I went over to the bar, and he's smiling at me. He's just like, "Man, that was really good. You were good, man." And I said, "Well, can I buy you a drink or anything like that?" He's like, "Sure, sure." And I said, "So you're a Dave Matthews fan? I wouldn't expect that." And he's like, "Well, I'm not really a fan per se." He's like, and I was like, "Well, that's interesting that you play." He said, "You see this guy over there in the corner?" And I didn't notice, but Andrew Jones was sitting in the corner, in the dark corner. He's like, "He hates Dave Matthews."
That's a good one.
That is brilliant.
I was part of the joke, but not the butt of it. So, but I got free whiskey, a Cuban cigar, and $100 bill. And
that's funny.
That is so good. He hates Dave Matthews. That's fantastic. Wow. I love it. I love it. I love it. That was a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. We are bringing trivia back. We had a shipping problem, Brian. I'll tell you that in a minute.
Yeah.
Got it all sorted. Everybody has started to get their prizes from way back, so we're going to bring it back. Tonight's prize is another care package. So it's going to have cleaning cloth. It's going to have some cleaner, some strings, some assorted picks, and maybe something else that we can find. So we're going to send you a nice little care package. Who's ready? Do you have a song for this?
Most days it don't matter how much useless stuff you know, but here on that prime time, part of the show is trivia. You might just win some swag. Trivia. Park and hold in the goodie bag. Trivia.
I love that.
That might be my new favorite.
That might be my new favorite song, actually.
That was
for
was amazing. I said it. I say amazing a lot, Brian. It's fine. So you guys know the rules of trivia. The first person in the comments to answer correctly wins the prize. Now, we have 2 questions, all right? When you win the prize, you have to email us at primetime@taylorguitars.com and let us know your information, and we'll get you everything. All right. Be fair, everybody. We got a lot of people out there who have won like 37 and a half times. I'm just kidding. We haven't had that many shows, I don't think. But anyway, you got this. All right. The first question is, ready? The first question is are the answers coming through 1974 yet? No one? All right. The first question is, what are 2 symptoms of a dry guitar? List 2 symptoms of a dry guitar. Lemon Grove. Do we have it? Did we get one? 2 symptoms?
I'm waiting for Gabe if he said.
Gabe's got to tell us which one was first. We're waiting on Gabe. All right, I think I got it. Whiskey is not the answer.
Yes, it is.
Cracking and splitting. I do not know how to pronounce your name. Ma, I believe you won. I think it's fantastic that you won. Send us an email at Taylor Guitars. Cracking and splitting, that's a good one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you consider that a winner?
Well, I mean, cracking and splitting are kind of the same thing.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I would say probably not.
Okay.
Sorry,
well,
Ma.
Maybe we put them up there, so I'm nice. Yeah. So send us an email anyway, and we'll send you a consolation prize.
Yeah. Yes.
Exposed frets, low action.
Is that the next one?
Buzzing, sunken top.
That is right. Buzzing in a sunken top is good.
Bloated body, skew neck.
No.
Right. No. So we'll go with buzzing and sunken top.
Yes.
And Ma, send us an email. We'll hook you up.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't see this one. So buzzing, Sambo wins all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You got this. You guys are good at this. You guys understand how trivia works. Fantastic. All right. So send us an email at Taylor Guitars or primetime@taylorguitars.com and we'll hook you up.
Sharp fret ends this time of year. Look for your get your guitar out if you're feeling sharp fret ends. That's what they meant when they said exposed frets. But
yeah,
that's a real telltale sign that your guitar's drying out.
What are some other symptoms they should look for?
Yep. Well, the splitting and the crack that can happen on the fretboard. You might see like your fretboard cracking. You might see the top, the seam where the two pieces of wood meet. The seam might crack.
Yeah, along here.
Yep, and it can.
Top will be sunk because it doesn't have enough moisture in it, and that's what causes the buzzing because the whole top the action drops down.
Right, you have a really really high angle.
Yep.
All right. And the last question. Oh, this is a trick question. This is going to be so awesome. Ready for this? Who sang the third verse of I Know What Love Is? Who sang the third verse of I Know What Love Is? Gabriel, you cannot answer this question. Who sang the third verse? There's 2 people. Trick question. There's 2 people. There's a lot of Lindsays.
I think I see the winner.
Answer.
John Lord.
Huh?
John Lord.
The winner.
Where?
John Lord. He wrote Lindsay and Zach.
There you go.
Lindsay and Jack. Is that Jack? I said Jack. Lindsay and Zach. That's right. John, good job. Good job, my friend. Send us an email at primetime@taylorguitars.com and we will get you your prize. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I think we should go out before your song, Mr. Lund. We got one more little promo from Brian Collins. Brian, you've been so fantastic, man. Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. It's been a blast. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show week in and week out. It's always fantastic. Next week, join us for getting to know Tim Godwin, our director of artist relations at Taylor Guitars. We all work with him very closely. He is a wonderful dude. He was in Air Supply. Maybe we can get him to rip some solos as well. He's one of the better players I know. We all know. Before we go, one more promo from Brian's new song, Keep Walking On.
And you might not get there first, and the road is long. The road is long. I'm gonna keep walking on.
Cool. I like the footsteps on the gravel road.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my, that's like one of the most pleasing sounds.
Right?
Thank you. Well, there's
Absolutely.
I'm trying to remember the two backup singers. We didn't even play the clip with the gospel singers, but they were fantastic, man. It just makes them. I'm excited for people to listen to this single.
Hey, before you sing us out, Andy, Hunter dropped something that was so great. I have to show it.
All right.
Had to mention humidity somehow. LOL. You're right, Hunter. You should win a prize for that. All right. Thank you, guys. See you next week. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us week in and week out on Taylor Primetime. Andy,
Yeah.
you want to take it away?
Yeah. I want to thank Hunter for making us laugh so I don't have to follow Brian's great song with my little silly one. What was it? What was it? It was prime time. It was prime time. What the heck was it? What was that? Well, that was prime time. Thanks to Mr. Brian Collins for hanging on prime time. You had a lot of useful tips to keep business things in line. Making it as an indie artist means working in crazy ways. But fans are your family. Fake managers are part of the game. Things you learn on prime time. On Tuesdays, here you learn on prime time. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
We love you. Take care.